Well, the NBA season kicks off officially tomorrow. I should say tips off since it is basketball. And Giannis Antetokounmpo leads a bunch of players who got contract extensions with their teams before the start of the season. We're going to talk about them, break them all down right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central. Bobby, Stevo, Haize, we all in the building today. We're going to be breaking down extension deadline day, which it always is a bunch of extensions that are announced literally right before the start of the season. And so a lot of them came down to the wire. The first one, the headliner of all of this, the most important piece in all of this, is Giannis Antetokounmpo signs a 3-year contract extension with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, we know that all summer, Giannis has been basically talking about the fact that what it was going to take for the Bucks to get him locked into a contract extension, and that was basically show that they are invested in being able to make runs at titles. They added Dame Lillard in a trade, and now locks in Giannis Antetokounmpo to a 3-year extension on top of it. He's locked in until the 2028 season, where he does have a player option, which he could get out of if needed. Fellas, how do you grade the deal?
Hey, I mean, we knew it was coming. We was pretty much it was a waiting game at this point. I thought he was actually going to sign it as earlier as the next few days, but it waited a little bit longer, maybe a week or two later. But they signed the contract. I knew the contract was going to be good. Like I said, I liked everything because of you don't want a huge long term contract because of his age, and it kind of ends right as his physical prime is supposed to end. So to me, it's just all around good signing.
Yeah, just
I
to add a little bit of color on that as well. Sorry, Bobby, before you go.
Go
So
ahead.
this puts him now. He basically locks him into 1 year longer than Dame Lillard's going to be there. So gives Giannis another chance to get out of there to add more pressure to the franchise after Dame Lillard's contract theoretically ends. But go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, and that's why I was gonna say it's a good one because not only you looking at Damian Lillard, but you also looking at some of the guys who you probably can consider their core, and Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, and Pat Connaughton. They all end in 2026. So that's just giving them enough time to continue to have this core together, and then if they want to move pieces around and continue to add on it, so they can try to capture as many championships as they can. So that's why I think it's a solid signing for sure.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Giannis got it now has a core that's going to be there up until basically he can opt out of that contract. He can join leaving that core if he wants to at that same time, and he can do exactly what he does now, depending on where he is. If he's still in his prime, can still well he's not going to be in his prime, but if he's still performing at a high level, he can put more pressure on that franchise to make sure that they keep solid players around him again. So this makes perfect. This is one of it aligns, everything aligns perfectly to what Giannis has said his goals and core and desires are in this league. And so, hey, you can't really knock it at all. I think Giannis has played this very well. Me and Steve, I know, have talked about the fact that Giannis handled this to me in the right way, right? Not like calling out his franchise, calling anybody out, not even really alluding to the fact that he was per se going to leave. He just made sure he focused on the fact, listen, I want to compete for titles. There's no point in me doing this if I'm not in a place to try to win championships. And the franchise has responded. They got Dame where everybody thought it was a foregone conclusion that he was going to end up in Miami. I don't even remember the Bucks being mentioned as a possible destination for him. They get Dame in there. He's locked in already in a contract extension that he signed. And now they can focus on how they're going to add to this core over the next couple of years, maybe even avoid that second tax apron, which may become a little bit difficult for them. And we all know Giannis is worth whatever money he can get. So that's not even a question if they overpaid for him. So.
Facts. Yeah, because I don't think they overpaid for him at all. Especially because if you, just like you mentioned all the great stuff that comes on the back end of it, let's just say he go ahead and he wins another championship. You know what I'm saying? And then he still got 2 years left. And you banking on him and he's still looking good, like you said. Now it could be another now as he's aging, what if they can go out and move some pieces around and get the next, young up and coming starter pair with him, be like, hey, we got a guy right here with championships. You the next big thing. Come on over here to Milwaukee.
Yeah, great decision there. Steve, anything left to add, brother?
No, I just wish it was my team.
Hey, listen. Shout out to Patrick Williams who didn't get his contract extension, but we got plenty of other contract extensions to talk about in this. First up, that we got to talk about a player that I like a lot. Me and Steve will talk a little bit about him. Denny gets a 4-year, $55 million contract extension with the Washington Wizards. How you guys feeling about that one?
I hope him and Poole can
Jordan
get it
Poole?
together.
Yeah, I know, right?
Get together because hey, they still look like they off to a rocky start, but hey, it's basketball. That's what happens. So, but yeah, he's another piece that of that team that can become a part of that core. So it's good to lock him down. There's still a lot of potential there, still a lot of promise there, and there's still a lot of development that you could pull out of him. So
Yeah.
we really don't know what his future holds, to be honest. So to me, if you sign him or you didn't sign him, it was up to you. But to me, he's got a familiarity with most of the people on that team. You got CRISPR, and now you got Kyle Kuzma. You got Jones there. You got yourself a nice little core. You just lock one percentage down. Now you got to lock the rest of them down.
I'm with you on that. You definitely got to lock it down, especially because with all the potential. So with the deal, you know what I'm saying, with 55 million a year, hey, you probably can get more than more out of this player than what you actually paid for if you believe in your coaching staff and believe in him as a player. So I think it's still a good signing. So you can go ahead and try to build something in Washington that's sustainable because it's been a long time since we've seen Bradley Beal and John Wall actually competing for anything in Washington. So it's good.
Yeah. And I will say this, we're all Bulls fans. Looking at some of these extensions that they gave out and some the way that these players have already performed, it's gonna be tough for P. Will to get over $20 million unless he comes out
Bruh.
and balls out this season, bro. Because
Bruh.
Yeah, unless you just randomly give me 24 this year or something.
yeah, like you like something gonna have to happen. We also got Zach Collins gets a 2-year, $35 million extension with the San Antonio Spurs. It seems like they're trying to lock in everybody. And they're signing fairly short terms deals, except for Vassell, which it makes sense. He's going to fit Wemby's
Mhm.
timeline, but it seems like they're just trying to not have to really worry about players that are going to be around Wemby the next couple of years as they develop them. They're going to have some pretty clear salary cap by the 2026 summer, and that's probably depending on however Wemby goes, where they probably try to make some big moves. What do you think about Zach Collins getting his money?
It's cool. I just feel like Zach is that center that just or whatever he is. He's
He's
just
played
that.
11 games in almost 2 years, though. That's what's
Sheesh.
crazy about that.
Ain't it?
Is it because of injury? Because I don't normally know him for being injury prone like that.
I'd have to do some research on that, but
But he's always been
yeah,
that solid player. Like he's that dude that I'm pretty sure on his scouting report when he came into the game into the league, they was like, oh yeah, he gonna have a nice little 16-year career. Like
yeah. I
that's
mean,
just
Right.
that's the type of player he is. So not gonna when he is solid, he'll give you 11-6, and ain't nothing to ask. It's not too much to ask for, and it's what most any team needs or needs a Zach Collins. So it's a good sign for me.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it, man. Look, just like Hayes, you pretty much said and put it out there. I think it's good that you got these guys around that's able to go ahead and grow with Wembanyama. You know, he's going to be the eventual star of the team, but you want these guys to all mature together so you can later down the line, with even with some of the short deals, it opens up more money for potential, signings to better the team. And then now you got these other guys who can be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Vassell fits with him. I know contract wise, but what if he grows to be the player that Wemby needs so they can be more successful?
yeah, facts.
Uh-huh.
Facts. Solid one on that one. Next one up, Aaron Naismith gets a 3-year, $33 million extension, so 11 million per year. This is I don't know if
I ain't
Naismith has
giving that
shown
much
some
money.
flashes, but I don't know if necessarily he's shown anything to me that it screams you got to extend him now. But hey, maybe obviously the Pacers felt different.
They probably did.
Yeah, that look like a just a clean. We need to spend this money, so why not? That's
Like
that's the type of deal that sound like.
he's he's not a starter for them. Like he's probably third down their depth chart is at both the small forward and the power forward position. You're
I
not
mean,
playing him before Obi Toppin. You're not playing him
Mm-mm.
before Jerace Walker. You're not playing him before Bruce Brown. You're not playing him before Buddy Hield, at least not right now. I don't know, bro. Like he can play the three and the floor, maybe even some two, but like He's third on all those at all
Right.
every one of those positions on their
I, I
depth chart.
I think it's mainly just because he got a big jump in points. For
Okay.
the last few years in Boston,
Yeah.
it was 3 to 4 points a game. Then it jumped all the way to 10 once he got to Indiana, which is has to do with
Mm-hmm.
his exposure because he got more time. He wasn't getting that much time in Boston, but now what this makes me concerned a little bit is they brung in some more people. Indiana got better,
Yeah.
so I don't know if he's going to be as good as like OP Toppin coming in and people like that. So hey, but you get your money, cool for you, bro.
Right.
Absolutely.
I ain't mad at
Hey,
him. Get your
that's what I'm
bread.
saying. Get your money.
I ain't mad at him. Get your bread. And then, I mean, hey, so a lot of these are pretty much investments in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? See if you're gonna be able to make some profit or you're gonna lose some, or you're gonna lose some money. And this is one of those signs to see what this guy can really do for the team, especially now when you got other guys that just came in to make the team better. We're gonna
Yeah.
see if he can rise to the occasion for sure.
Ass it like Shaq buying a Taco Bell, basically.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Next up, Orlando Magic, Cole Anthony, Mr. Gums and Hairline himself gets 3 years, $39 million. I mean, dental care is expensive. So, I mean, but
For Orlando,
for Orlando, yeah, 3 years, $39 million.
y'all got 82 guards.
Bro.
It's funny because they have so many point guards down there, and I feel like none of them have shown that they need to be everyday starter yet.
Right.
No, and if I do, I'm leaning for Markel.
I agree.
Exactly. And like Cole Anthony, don't get me wrong, he's played a lot of minutes for them, can play the one or the two in some lineups, but you just drafted a young solid guard, especially defensively, who actually brings something your other guards don't have, and Anthony Black, who you just drafted. I'm
He looked like a
surprised.
dog.
Exactly. I'm surprised
Bruh.
considering they still got Jalen Suggs down there. They just brought in Anthony Black. You just talked about Markel Fultz. He may be on the move. There have been some rumors that they may look to move him, but it just seems like again another deal that I kind of understand to a degree, but I also feel like you if I'm not mistaken, he's still a restricted free agent this offseason. You didn't have to give him this money right now.
Facts. Facts. Like I said, unless these guys gonna continue to bank on them, you know what I'm saying? They,
Yeah.
you know how some GMs get. They draft their guys and they're gonna give whoever their guy is enough time to pretty much live up to what they believe. You know what I'm saying? What the GM drafted them for. And I would say like, hey, all those guards and this guy has dealt with some injuries these past few seasons. You know what I'm saying? He ain't missing too much crazy time. You know what I'm saying? Like last year played 60 games, the year prior 65 games, and then the year prior to that just a total of 47. But he's still young, can't overcome that eventually, but sometimes it's just something you got to bring to the table when negotiating these things.
Facts. Next up, one of the, I feel is a deal that's definitely a future investment, especially considering what they may do with one of the two centers they have down there. But the Timberwolves give Jaden McDaniels a 5-year, $136 million contract. That boy got paid. And do not get me wrong, this dude has really taken steps up the last couple of seasons. Definitely a solid defensive player, but he also throwing in a little bit of scoring. 12 points per game last season, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 51% shooting from the field. He was in the top 20, I think 25 of field goal percentages per game last season. So I feel like still 23 years old. I'm not mad at this deal at all.
It made more sense than that damn Rudy Gobert move.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
It
I
really
agree with
does.
that.
It's the upside about it. Like he's already one of the like I don't know if like to most people in the league, he's a top defender. So
Yeah.
you getting
Uh-huh.
that. So and then like you said, he added to his game. He's a better scorer and the potential is there to be an even better scorer. He grew, so he's taller than what he came through into the league. Now I think he's near 6'11" now. So that was a good signing to me. And you got him at a bargain man right now.
23 years, yeah, you like, and keep in mind, I know that hearing the $100 million contract so easily now is like a little bit mind-boggling, but
That's a
technically
bargain.
his deal is for 13% of the salary cap. That's the equivalent of what basically a $9.5 to $10.5 million contract was 8-9 years ago.
All
It's
right.
not it's a lot of money, but it's
But
not
it
a
ain't.
lot of money for where the salary cap is now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna go with my point. I think it's a good solid signing because look, it ain't affecting us out, with the expectation of the salary cap, going up further and further. And now I don't know how true it is, but discussions with Amazon potentially, you know what I'm saying? But you already know that the game is moved to international play to where these guys can bring in more money, make more money. So, and especially now with this player, he has shown so many flashes these past few seasons and the growth. You bank on it and you get to hold him down for a couple years without having to pay him or let him go to restricted free agency. Somebody putting out a even bigger deal, and now you got to make a decision on matching that. So
Yeah, because
this is
and with that deal, you almost kind of make yourself with two regimes because you kind of
Mhm.
you could kind of separate the regime between Edwards and him versus Rudy. I mean, not Rudy. Cat. So if Cat don't eventually get to the point where you just don't see it, he what 25, 26, 27 in that age bracket. So I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure a contract for him is coming up soon, and it's a big topic of if they want to pay him or not. And they let him walk. That's be good that you got Jalen McDaniels there because you could
I agree.
possibly fit him in the same position.
And the one thing
Agree.
about McDaniels as well that I like is that as his role has increased, his production has increased. A lot of times you don't necessarily see that. And he's kept his defensive ability as well, shooting almost 40% from 3-point range last season, taking 3.5 per game. Again, not a huge volume there, but showing an ability to be solid there. He's a career 36% 3-point shooter also. So it's not like he's ever been terrible, but like he went from 5.8 shots his rookie year to last season, his third year in the league, 9.1 shots, but you hit that at a 51% clip. Listen, you can't be
You
mad at the
live with that.
production that Jalen McDaniels is giving you. And he's probably what, the third, fourth option on offense for that team?
Right.
So,
I'm about to
And I
say, go ahead.
I was gonna say what Stevo, just to talk about your point when it comes to Cat. Cat he's I think he's a solid player. Pretty good on most nights, probably even better than most. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, if it comes down to it, we got to pay Cat some more money, and we got a young guy that's probably, having a greater impact than them or may fit with who they believe their eventual superstar is. And that's not a bad pairing when you can pair McDaniels with Ant. So I think it's great.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, because he's a nice two-way, and looks like Ant is locked into a contract into 2027. Oh, they ain't got to make a decision on Ant no time soon.
yeah, no time soon
Hmm.
at all.
Jesus, I didn't
Yeah,
realize
they
he was
lock.
gonna be that
They
goddamn
he
young.
ain't get locked
Yeah,
down. He got
locked up.
strapped. He got
Shit,
strapped
that's
down.
crazy.
Yeah, if P Will talk about the contract he want, you might be want to be looking at this contract because that's probably the closest you gonna get if you.
Did Jaden
Make,
McDaniel and
yeah,
yes, but I think that it shows like Pat has to show up this year. Like Patrick Williams has to show up this year, and if he does, I think the Bulls aren't going to be reluctant to pay him. But he has to show that he's stepping into the role. And we kind of talked about it on Locked On Bulls today. I know we're not necessarily talking about players who didn't get a deal, but fuck it, let's talk about it this season, Patrick, if it's not going to be scoring, he has to go make the step from being a solid defender to where we look at Pat
elite.
as one of the best defenders in the league. That's
Agreed.
it. It's one or the other. You either have to do more with your scoring opportunities, or if you're not, if you still get the almost 11 points per game, that's cool. But your defense has to be so good. Your ability to rebound, your blocking shots, your steals. You have to be so good at every other aspect of the game if you want this $100+ million contract. Otherwise, he may end up signing one of these deals that we saw
80.
the 3 years for 65 million. That may end up being something that he kinds of get, and even then, that's may even be a little bit less than what he's going to get. So
Facts.
I get that Kobe White special.
listen,
Bro.
people forget like Kobe White's your starting point guard. He signed for $11 million.
Exactly.
So
Still.
But he realizes that if he put himself in the right position and improve his game, he can ask for way more.
exactly. So
Absolutely.
all that talk he's talked about mindset and he wants to be an impact player and all that, he got to come with it, man. And I don't even mean that as a slight. That's just the realities of the situation. You got to come with it. That's it. We can talk about entitlement over contracts and all that all day long. But listen, joining Patrick Williams, just since we're talking about players who didn't get their deal, Sadiq Bey, Emmanuel
Mhm.
Quickly, Patrick Williams, Obi Toppin, and Precious Achua are kind of the biggest notable players that didn't get their contract that will be restricted free agents next offseason.
And
Out
I
of those players, and I can repeat the names of it, out of those players, which do you think is probably going to end up getting the bigger deal. Now, of course, it's based off this season that we haven't seen yet, but just kind of as a prediction, who you think is going to end up getting the bigger deal?
I didn't know he was going that way.
Me either. I think
I'm going to say probably
It's like
Obi.
out of 3. It's out of, I got to give you 3.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's Obi, Sadiq, and Emmanuel.
Okay. I can see where you're going.
That's that, because I feel like Emmanuel got he already has the work out there to prove that he should get paid, and then I still feel like he could take a step. So if he homes in on his point guard skills, they're gonna pay him.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
And Sadiq, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. He just But what I was gonna say, everybody on there that you just named, it makes sense why they haven't got paid yet, though.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at Obi's moved around, he's on his 3rd team now.
No, second team.
His second team.
He got drafted by the Knicks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Knicks.
So he's on his 2nd team. He hasn't even played for them really yet. So I can understand why they maybe want to take, again, restricted. So they got matching right. So no risk there. Sadiq Bey's moved, another player that's moved
Second
around
team.
too. Emmanuel
Precious as
quickly.
well.
Yeah, Precious as well. Emmanuel quickly. He's on the Tom Thibodeau team. It's always hard to judge those players. And then we all know Patrick. Passive P shows us up way too much for him to get a contract extension right now. So all those teams, all those players, it makes sense, right? Like you give them prove-it years. You, like I said, because you have the ability to match any contract, if they go out and they ball out and they deserve these max level contracts, cool. You give them the max, you keep it pushing. If they don't, you let them go out and find their own deal. So it makes sense for all those players who don't.
And that's why I was gonna say too, and that's like it was a tough decision to even say who will probably earn the most. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking maybe Obi if I had to choose.
Yeah, that's
just to say, because I think that now with him going to the new team, he might have a bigger role, or probably can come into a bigger role, because with Patrick Williams, he got Zach and DeMar in front of him, Sadiq Bey, he got Trae Young and DeJounte Murray in front of him. And I think the role I know Obi Toppin gonna be dealing with, Benedict Mathurin, Tyrese Halliburton, and those guys too for, minutes or whatever, depending on how they all fit. But I agree with both of y'all. I think that both of these guys all of these guys really got to go out here and put on some good basketball this season so you can get the money that you desire.
Yeah.
Sadiq just got outplayed Bogdanovich, and he got it. But you got to outplay Bogdanovich, and that's not easy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. All right, fellas. Any last thoughts before we get up out of here?
No.
I ain't got nothing. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe.
Absolutely subscribe. Make sure you guys follow us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And you can send us a voicemail right now. We still share it with Chicago Bulls Central. I need to give us our own because it's about that time, but it's 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything basketball related. And we'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.